craving you can't explain is often the grief you never allowed yourself to feel. Have you ever been at a moment of real loss and felt something locked up in your chest or throat, something you pushed back down almost instantly? Are you a Muslim brother who was raised to believe that holding it together is what strength looks like, and letting the tears come out would somehow be a sign of weakness? And after a real loss, have you noticed the urge to escape gets louder, and that whatever you usually reach for starts pulling stronger? Inshallah, by the end of this video, you're going to know what it actually looks like when you're holding grief in, what that's actually doing to your body, and how to move through it and heal. May Allah reward you for being curious. Let's tie our camel. I've been doing a lot of work with brothers and their emotions over the past few years, learning what it actually means to feel something versus just thinking and talking about it. And a few days ago, I got a real test. A close friend of mine was killed, and through Allah's mercy and this work as a means, I was able to cry, feel the anger, and let all of it move through me, which then allowed me to genuinely celebrate his life and the way he left. Here's what I want to start with, because almost nobody connects these two things. First, how do you even know if you're holding grief in? Because most brothers who are doing it don't realize it. It doesn't feel like grief. It feels more like this need to stay busy, to keep moving, and to fill every hour. Or there's a low irritability following you around that you can't quite explain. Or maybe it's a heaviness sitting in the chest that just won't let up. And sometimes you just feel kind of flat, like the loss happened, and now you're going through the days, functioning fine, but something underneath feels off. That's held grief. And here's what's actually happening in the body. When you hold grief in, you're not making it disappear. You're storing it. The body keeps what the mind couldn't process, so it holds it in. And your nervous system stays in this low-level state of unfinished business. And here's where it directly connects to behavioral patterns. The things you're reaching for, the scroll, the corn, whatever the behavior is, these are relief responses. It's energy that's been building with nowhere to go. Your nervous system is just looking for something or somewhere to put it. So when brothers tell me they don't know why the urge hits hardest after a long day or why they went back right after losing someone, this is often exactly why. The emotion that never got to move through them is the one asking for relief. So, inshallah, I'd like you to actually feel into this for a second. Where's the grief you've been carrying? And I mean actually feel it, not just think about it. Where is it in your body right now? Is it in your chest, your throat? Maybe you're holding anger with a tight jaw or a frown. That's actual stored energy. There's something I had to learn the hard way about the difference between naming a feeling and actually feeling it. Most of us are really good at naming our emotions, but naming and actually feeling are two completely different things. When we say I'm sad, what we actually mean is we're thinking about sadness and we're running a story about it. The actual physical experience of it, the tightness across the chest, pressure behind the eyes, this elevating heat, that's what we're carefully staying just above. And here's what I've come to understand through this work. When a feeling is actually allowed to move through the body, not analyzed, not narrated, just physically felt, it moves. And it moves fast. The overwhelming feeling we think we're trying to avoid, that's what happens when you're fighting it. The resistance is what makes it feel enormous. When you stop resisting, the feeling itself is actually manageable. In fact, so many brothers I work with tell me just after practicing once or even twice, they feel an extreme sense of relief or a weight being lifted off their shoulders. Because what's hard is carrying it around. Actually feeling it, that part moves fast. So what did I actually do when I got the news about my friend? The first thing I did was stop trying to stay composed. I want to talk about this specifically because sometimes there's a cultural version of composure. Staying patient, telling others to trust in Allah, and being strong for those around you. But if we're not careful, that version can quietly become suppression disguised with a spiritual performance. Of course, I believe in sabr. And the way I understand it, and I could be wrong, is that sabr is patience that moves through difficulty, not freezing in place so nobody has to see you. When the news hit, I let the wave come. Tears came and flowed. A lot of grief. Then there was thoughts of regret for not spending more time with him before moving out of San Diego last year. But then there was a different wave. This wordless, heavy feeling. Not at anyone. Just a raw, this is wrong energy moving through me. And I let that move too. I didn't try to explain it because these feelings we have through our nervous system can rarely be explained with the mind. And so that feeling moved through me, and it moved fast. Uncomfortable, yes, but fast, because I wasn't adding resistance to it. Within a couple of days, I was thinking about him with joy, celebrating who he was, and specifically celebrating the way he left, inshallah, as a shaheed, protecting the other brothers and sisters, mostly children, in the house of Allah. That's something to carry with halal pride, inshallah. That shift was only possible because the grief got to complete. I didn't lock it in. And it could be why, Islamically, we're given 3 days to grieve, and why the family of the deceased doesn't cook, clean, or do much of anything during those 3 days. It's the members of the community that help with the moving parts while they properly grieve. Trying to overcome grief with head talk can prolong it for weeks, months, or even years. So had I locked it in with my head, it could have come out in various unproductive ways, like, how could those terrorists do that? Who were they? Where were they from? If only this, if only that. What if this? What if that? Becoming an investigator, scouring the internet, trying to find out the why. But all of these are just side effects of holding in our emotions. These are just ways, almost like virtuous ways, in our mind that we distract ourselves from our emotions. Distractions don't always appear as something negative, like an addiction. Sometimes they appear as being productive or doing what needs to be done. Brothers, if this is landing and you want to do this work inside a supportive community, we have a free community for Muslim brothers, a space where you don't have to explain yourself and you can be yourself. Link is in the description. Here's what to actually do with this. Pick a loss. Doesn't have to be death. Could be a relationship that ended, a version of yourself you had to let go, and this is a big one when it comes to addiction, or something you've been carrying for a long time without letting yourself grieve. Sit down somewhere alone, and you can pause the video until you're there. Close your eyes, and don't think about the story of the loss. Let your attention drop into your body. Find where it's sitting. Is there weight somewhere? Tightness? Something that feels hollow? Stay with the sensation. Don't try to make it bigger or smaller. And don't try to explain it. Just let it be there and breathe. You might feel tears. And you might feel nothing at first, and that's usually numbness, which builds when you've been holding the lid on for years. Stay curious with the numbness. Even numbness has a texture if you slow down enough to notice it. Your body is not withholding from you. It's waiting to see if you're actually going to stay this time. The sensation will start to shift. Maybe a small movement in your chest. Maybe the tightness loosens a little. That's the nervous system doing what it was built to do, processing and releasing. You just have to stop blocking the door long enough for it to work. What you actually let be there moves. Your body was built for this. Your nervous system already knows how to do this. It's been trying to. You just have to stop blocking the door. Now, knowing how to heal and actually doing it can be challenging at times. If that's the case for you, please join us in our free community for Muslim men at the link below. Jazakallah khair and As-salamu alaykum.